We are really, really happy tonight to have Audrey Awasom, who's going to be joining us. Audrey is an alum of Montgomery College. She also is a graduate of University of Maryland, where she has degrees in marketing and technology entrepreneurship. Um, and is impressive for so many reasons. And so I'm just really, really glad that she's able to join us. A lot of you have had experience with her along her pathway. But she is also what the reason that I brought her in tonight primarily is because she also is the founder and CEO of a nonprofit that's called Noble Uprising, and has and is here to share her experience and her wisdom and what she's learned along the way about the process of launching a nonprofit, and also just to tell her story, which is really fascinating.
I really am grateful for this opportunity because Montgomery College is really where I started my entrepreneurship journey. I started to learn more about my passions, and I'm super excited to share my journey, share the lessons that I've learned. So let's get started. How to launch a successful nonprofit organization. And really successful, you define what you mean by successful, but for me, it's a nonprofit regardless of size that has impact and makes a difference in the lives of individuals in our community. And so I don't know everything. I can only share my experience. And so really, this is an effort for me to share my story, share what I've learned throughout my journey, and hope that it inspires you, and hope that I can answer any questions that you have. So let me go ahead and get started. Um, like I said, I started my journey here at Montgomery College. A lot of you are Montgomery College students. I think I see one of my best friends, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, girl. And when I started Noble Uprising, I was a student here at Montgomery College, and I did not start with the intention of starting a nonprofit organization. In fact, I thought I was going to be an accountant. And then I took accounting classes and I quickly switched my major to marketing. But really, I wasn't seeking, starting a nonprofit or a business. I really just wanted to make an impact. In fact, when I started, I'll tell you about the foundational journey of Noble Uprising. So I was a student at MC. I was putting in papers for like employment, and then the office that was in that I needed to submit the papers to was right across from Miss Razavi's office. And literally, as I'm going in to submit the papers, and I'm asking Miss Razavi, like I didn't know Miss Razavi then, but I was like, "Hey, do you know where the office is?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's just this way." And I shared with her what I'm there for, and then she goes, "When you're done, why don't you come in my office?" And that's how the journey started. It really was impromptu, not expected, and really just started from Ms. Rasavi. She was getting coffee and she was like, "Hey, why don't you come in?" And so I was a part of the Hillman Entrepreneurs Program, which is now the Southern Management Leadership, I believe, program. And when I went to Ms. Razavi, I went to her office, and I was like, "Ms. Razavi, I really want to do something about the individuals who are experiencing homelessness in our community." Ms. Razavi, I wonder if you remember that that discussion. um, and so I went into her office and I told her, I just want to make an impact, right? My mom, she's a nurse practitioner. She raised us up with the mindset of always giving back. And so I saw an increase in the number of individuals who were standing on the corner of the streets in Montgomery County specifically, and I wanted to do something to help, to assist. And so I asked Ms. Razavi about that. And she goes, "Hey, we have a program called Enactus. This will be great for that project." And so I went ahead and filled out all the form. I met with two other individuals who were interested in serving the community with me. And that's how we started a project called the One Heart Project. And so through the One Heart Project, again, we met at, it was again, not intentional. We just wanted to come together to serve our community. And so we created the One Heart Project with the intent of collaborating with homeless shelters and providing career readiness training at the shelters. And again, we didn't initially know that this was exactly what we wanted to do. We started number one by doing customer discovery. We called a whole bunch of nonprofits and a whole bunch of shelters, and we asked them, we didn't assume anything. We said, what exactly is your need and how can we help? And a lot of them told us a list of things that they need, of course. And so we came together and we decided, okay, we did some research on what exactly are the causes of homelessness. And based on the list that we received from these shelters, how can we then apply our resources that we have from the college, our network to these individuals who are in the shelters. And so we did that all in a span of like 3 months, and we created the One Heart Project. This project really spearheaded my passion, and I knew that this is something I wanted to do for the rest of my life because the One Heart Project, I ran it like a business because I was also taking business courses at MC, and um, I realized that the more I was doing One Heart work, like I was choosing One Heart work over my homework, right? Like I was doing it so diligently, and I was like, "Whoa, this can be something that I want to do after I graduate." Or and really, what pushed it over the mark for me was when we were in our workshops when we came to the shelters. We came with food, we played games, we had fun with our clients, and we also provided the technical training, right? We also had
Hello?
the trainings, etc. And
Hello?
so, um, and so Zoom life, right? And so we had our technical training, but we also interacted with our women. And something that we received, and I was speaking with one of our women, and she said, "You know, Audrey, the training is great, but I just love how you guys make us feel. Like we look forward to every Thursday, you guys coming in, playing games, and you guys just bring so much light." And what she shared with me, she confided that, you know, in the shelter, they have similar stories. And when they share it with one another, it's almost like they're depressing one another. And so to have outsiders come in and just have fun and eat and just be together, they really enjoyed that. So she never forgot how we made them feel. And that was so impactful for me. And it definitely it made me know that this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. So that's the One Heart story. You know, we had, this is some pictures of events. We had women. We, like I said, for example, this is the food over there that everyone's eating. We did very good work in just learning more about our audience and learning more about our women and being transparent with the work that we were there to do. And it was so enlightening and so grateful. It was an enlightening experience because we also provided an opportunity for individuals to graduate from the One Heart Project, and we had really great feedback and very great exposure as well and impact. And we were able to provide a countless amount of them with resume help, time management, getting employment, in addition to just basic needs that they need. And we had gifts every time we came, and it was for like a we gave it to the individual that was the most engaged. And so here we have Sanji holding her gifts from Victoria's Secret and Bath and Body Works. And so, and Mr. Zavi is right here again during one of our sessions. Hi, Mr. Zavi. And so, yes, that's the One Heart story. And you know, as a student entrepreneur, I did want to talk about how the importance of being a student and creating something, right? I would have never known this is something I was passionate about or wanted to do long term if I didn't take actionable steps to just help, right? And so I used school and the courses at Hillman and the Southern Management program, and even my business courses to really develop my idea, develop a team. I used professors to not only come in and teach the workshops, but created those relationships and resources that we can provide to our women. And I didn't know I was doing this, but I eventually learned that I was building my personal brand. And what I mean by that is how people talk about you when you're not in the room, right? I didn't know this at the time. I was just being my authentic self, and just being helping as much as possible and being involved as much as possible. And I later learned that as a result of that, I was able to get even more support later on. So I wanted to share that during this stage. We did a couple of things, right? Which is important for any organization as you're starting, or if you want to start a project, if you want to start a nonprofit. Number one, you need a team. You need individuals who are going, you can't do it alone. Some people try and burn out. And so you need individuals who will buy into your idea. And there's no better time to do that than in school. As a student, you have a lot of resources at your disposal. And so utilize that. We also receive support from many organizations. Again, I was being intentional in my actions. I attended some workshop at MC, and Athleta in Gap were doing a session there. And I just met them and I was like, hey, yeah, like this is a great session. We have this program that we're doing. And if you're interested, you can join us. And I told them a little bit more about the organization. Next thing you know, they're supporting a session for our Dress for Success workshop, right? And so again, because of not only the school setting, but being intentional in my actions, I was able to get support from organizations. Not only that, we received a grant from Walmart. We later received recognition from then Congressman, but now Senator Chris Van Hollen. And so that's just, you need individuals to support your idea, because you can't do it by yourself, and you need a team. And then with this, you also prove your concept, right? Proving your concept is very important, and getting as much data and experience is so important, because when you're applying for grants, when you're applying for pitches and trying to just get more support and provide more impact for individuals, we later learned that this was so instrumental in getting us funding. And so we were able to collect data, we were able to get pictures and share experiences. And so that was important. And like I mentioned, during this whole process, I was building my personal brand. After I graduated from Montgomery College, it was a really difficult experience for me, because that was my safety net, right? I had my professors that I loved there. I had my support system there. And it was such a almost scary experience to move from MC to UMD and USG, because I was going to something completely new and I didn't know anyone there. And so that was really scary for me. But again, it proved to be a fruitful experience. And so I transferred to the University of Maryland College Park at USG. And the first year when I was there, I just kind of got a feel of, who's who, what's what, and what programs are available, etc. And Mr. Zavi knows this. As a student, and even now, I try to be as involved as possible, as much as possible. And so, I joined the ambassador program, learned more about USG and UMD and the programs that are being offered. At UMD, I learned more about their entrepreneurship program. I participated in their incubators and their ideation sessions to kind of refine Noble. And another thing that was really difficult was because when I finished the One Heart project and I graduated to UMD, all of my team members were graduating with me, right? And so we did have one student who was not a sophomore year yet, and she did continue that project. But when we graduated, my team members and my co-founders were interested in doing something completely different. And so now I was faced with the challenge of growing what will in the future turn into Noble Uprising, and finding a way to refine the idea that we had for the One Heart project. And so that's exactly what I did. I participated in programs to get more information, learn as much as possible in my classes. I had my business law classes. What's interesting is I used all of my professors to help me with my nonprofit or with Noble, right? I used them as a resource as much as possible. So I made sure that, on the flip end, I somehow stayed connected with MC. But while I was at UMD, I used my professors to learn more about, okay, what do I need to incorporate and actually start Noble? What legal documents do I need? So my business law professor, after each class, I would be like, okay, and he had to tell me, this is not legal advice, Audrey, but okay, here's where you can go to get more information. And so I use my professors a lot, my business strategy classes, my consumer analysis classes, my marketing classes, etc. I learned so much. And every class that I took, I figured out, okay, how can I apply what's being taught in this class into Noble Uprising? And so to help and refine the idea of Noble Uprising. So I was able to build my strategy. Already talked about getting non-legal advice from my professor. And so this is the result of that hard work, right? The first year, I did more work on the foundational years. And then my senior year, 2018, January 3rd, was when I officially incorporated. Again, I'll tell you a little bit more about the steps I took for that. But I learned to use the resources that were available to me as a student, even aside from school. But school's my community, so it was easier. But as a student, we receive so many free things, and we're not seen as, in the business world, we're non-threatening almost. And so I was able to reach out. The Chamber of Commerce, not the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, they were having their event, and so I would I would email them and ask, "Hey, do you have a student discount?" And they're like, "Hey, yeah, here's a free pass to come to our events." And I went, right, and I actually followed up. And I was provided with so many free opportunities like that, and learned that a lot of the partners, a lot of the opportunities that we were provided with at Noble was a result of me just reaching out and asking for help, and asking to learn, right? Even my mentors, I later found, like I said, Miss Razavi, how many times I went to her office asking her 101 questions, and her being my soundboard on some ideas that I had. And so that was important for me. And so in this stage, there were a couple of things that I did, right? The first thing is I had to get a new team. As I mentioned, my old team went on to do different things, and they're doing very successful. And so that was great. I had to get together a new team, and this team was these are all my friends, right? They were all my friends, and they were like, "Hey, Audrey, we like you. Why don't we just join you in this project or in this organization?" And they were committed to the work that and the mission that we had. And so I had a new team. I had to put together legal documents, and this is like our board of director, our policies, like conflict of interest policies, ethics policies, bylaws, and all of that, right? I had to put together that, and then get it reviewed by some legal advice. So what's interesting is UMD, through the Dingman Center of Entrepreneurship, they had office hours where actual lawyers came to give legal advice. So it was free legal advice. Again, as a student, we received it for free. Outside of being a student, you would have to pay a whole bunch of money for it, right? And so I utilized that, took advantage of as much of every opportunity that I could, to grow and develop Noble. And so I had all of them looked, the legal documents looked after. And also I incorporated, right? One thing that I'll get to loans in a second when I get to funding. That'll be interesting. One thing that was interesting, like I said, I used the legal services. So my mentor was also a lawyer, so she looked over our articles of incorporation. Um, I also learned to open a bank and get an EIN number. Little did I know, like you had to when funding was important to open a bank. A whole bunch of banks have a whole bunch of fees, minimums that you have to acquire to abide by. And so I tried to find a bank that had all those taken off. And gratefully, Capital One was offering a program where they had no fees and no fees, no minimum, and none of that. So I applied for that ASAP and was able to open that bank. And that was really great. They don't offer that bank anymore. That offering anymore, but I inquired about it and they said that they possibly they'll be opening it back up. Um, and then I got my board together. And what's interesting about recruiting my board is I focus on the individuals who know me, who were familiar with my pursuit to serve my community, to make an impact. And um, I don't want to say any names, but someone called Miss Razavi was also a part of the founding board members. And she really helped us with our community partners as well. And other amazing individuals. We had a great a CPA who had his own firm look over our all of our funding and accounting needs. And we were able to, through our relationship with UMD, something that happened by chance, but it was really chance and luck meets preparation. We're able to partner with Schiff Harden, which is a legal firm, and they provide all of our legal stuff now. They're amazing. I had a meeting with them again on Monday, and I'm like, wow, lawyers are so intimidating. But I want to have these type of lawyers backing me, right? And so it was a great experience. And so getting our board together, and then obviously we needed to get funding. Something that I tried to stay away from was loans. I always have the mentality of there's money out there if you can find it, right? And I wanted to stay away from loans, even student loans. I graduated with no student loans. All of my schooling was paid for. And I always think, and this is just my philosophy, I know a lot of other individuals have a different opinion, but I think I think you can start a business without taking a loan. And there's many of my colleagues and my friends who are entrepreneurs have done so. There are different ways that they go about it, right? In our case, we did a lot of pitch competitions. We are a nonprofit, but even as a nonprofit, we did a lot of pitch competitions in order to get funding. Through our connection and our partnership with the Do Good Institute at UMD, we received private donors. And it's so interesting because I found that a lot of these opportunities happen with me just wanting to help. So, for example, at UMD, there was we wanted to do a class of female founders, and essentially, it's a class that we have all these female entrepreneurs and we support each other, etc. And there was a donor who decided to fund that class. And at the end of it, he realized, you know what? Let me fund the organizations that are in this cohort. And I followed up with the donor, got to know him and his wife, great individuals, and they were our first private donors. And later on, we were provided with other opportunities. So that was a great funding source for us. Like I said, there's money out there for your impact. If you want to make an impact, you just have to know where to go and be strategic and intentional in where you're looking. And then grants as well. We applied to as much grant as a lot of grants actually, through UMD. And like I said, being a student there, a lot of funding opportunities there as well. Um, and we tried to in the beginning stay away from federal grants, but we're learning that it's important to do to apply to those as well. So that's another avenue of funding for us. And then in this stage, lastly, we launched the We Care campaign. And essentially, this campaign is where we provide basic needs to individuals who are experiencing homelessness. There are a lot of individuals who don't have the basic necessities needed to survive. And so we wanted to close that gap and provide that need. And this is just like stuff like care packages, hygiene products, food, etc. Basically, food and health, to help individuals that are facing hardships. So that kind of sums up our UMD experience, right? It was a very enlightening experience. Like I said, we took advantage of UMD and USG programs. We took advantage of those classes. We found resources to help fund our 2018 to 2019 program. And I'm excited to share where we are now. Noble has been such a impactful experience for me, for the individuals that we serve. I'm learning so much as an entrepreneur. I'm learning so much through Noble, and I'm excited to share kind of like the things that we are doing now. So we were able to launch our pilot program. And that was a training program where we provided the individuals with career readiness training, provided them with a shopping spree. One of our core values in our organization is the Noble experience. And the anchor quote for that is a Maya Angelou quote that says, "People will forget what you do, they'll forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel." And so we want to cater every experience that we provide our clients, our partners, or even our employees. We want to ensure that they feel valued, they feel heard, and they feel respected and loved overall. So for our program, we incorporate things that have those type of experiences. So we had a shopping spree. We provided them with free clothes, free laptops, free transportation to the training center, which was actually at MC Rockville. That was a great hub for us. It was a great hub for the transit. And so it was a great location for our training center. We were able to provide all of the women, the women who graduated from our program, who received employment, and even following up with them after graduation. That was really important for us in that model as well. Of course, 2020 came and like messed up everything for the most part, but sticking with them. We always said, when you're a part of the Noble family, you're a part of the Noble family for life. And so helping them recover even after our program. And so in what we are doing, this is a mix of what we did and what we're doing now. So what we did is, like I said, we launched our fall 2018 to 2019 program. It lasted us until the end of 2019, following up, reskilling, training on not only, we had basic literacy like computer, and then we had teachings, and then we had the Microsoft suite that every employee corporate needs to learn, etc. And then more of the technical skills training piece of how to use Excel, how to function, soft skills, how to function in an office environment, etc. And so we did that. It was very eye-opening as well. We learned so much about, the model that we're trying to implement. We also learned about what works and what doesn't. The loopholes or the challenges that we face were able to provide us with greater clarity on what to look out for our next program. So we're doing research, updating our strategy based on the pilot program that we had and the feedback that we received. And then 2020 happened, right? And nothing could happen in person. And we didn't have the capabilities of doing online teachings, or even, MC did a really great job of this, providing Wi-Fi and that type of services to their students who were in need, in addition to providing them with laptops. You could provide laptops, but not so much the connectivity. And so the virtual option we were unable to implement that. And so we kind of had to learn and kind of re-up, like, okay, how do we ensure that this doesn't happen again? And so the first thing we did is we secured community partners and corporate partners. We partnered with Microsoft. We participated, and we participate in their nonprofit program, not the generic nonprofit program that they have, but specific to the nonprofits that are serving individuals from Black communities. And so we were able to get that partnership. They provided us with all of our internal operations. We partnered with Salesforce. Salesforce were able to now streamline some of those processes. So Microsoft provided us with the opportunity to update our internal operations in sense of emailing teams and all of that. We were able to have that functionality now, that virtual functionality, and working with community partners to kind of understand what exactly the need is now. And not only that, we also did more research. So we used 2020, although we weren't able to actually have a program, we worked on our internal operations and re-upping and updating our research. Now that the pandemic has happened and then it was happening, who is most impacted, right? Who requires the most need? Who can we serve? And what strategies or what solutions can we put in place to ensure that individuals that are heavily affected by the pandemic are provided with the right resources to survive and succeed. And so we did all of that foundational work in 2020, and we're happy to be implementing that this year. Like I said, we refined our internal operations, we secure community corporations. And what's really great about everything that we're doing with Noble Uprising is the opportunity to partner with other change makers who want to impact their communities and serve their communities. And so going back to what I said with in 2020, doing the research, securing partners, etc. This year, we're partnering with the Do Good Institute again, and students from the Do Good Institute to provide community pantries all around PG County. And so essentially, due to the research that we did in 2020, we learned that out of 3 counties, Montgomery County, Frederick County, and PG County, Montgomery County and Frederick County were all had a decreasing number of individuals who were experiencing poverty and homelessness. However, PG County was the only county that was increasing. And of course, we know that women were the most impacted for the pandemic. And of course, that impacted that number as well. But in general, women between ages 25 to 34 are more likely to experience homelessness, are more likely to experience poverty, and are more likely to be unemployed and underemployed. And so taking that research, we were like, okay, we came up with kind of three stages or 3 pillars. The first pillar that we have is the equip pillar. And strategic wise, we're implementing it this year. And essentially, we're equipping with our clients with the resources that they need to survive, right? We can't worry about employment if you're hungry, right? And so how do we feed our clients? How do we provide health resources and housing resources, partnering with organizations? So we're not reinventing the wheel, but we're complementing it, right? Ensuring that our clients are surviving this year. And of course, this initiative will continue. The second thing then is adult literacy and just basic needs literacy that our women need foundationally for any job. And then the third pillar would be that technical skills training, which is heavily focused on specific skills and apprenticeship. And so that's kind of the trajectory that Noble is going in right now. We're focusing, like I said, focusing on helping our clients to survive this year and next year, and then helping them grow, and then eventually helping them thrive. And as a result of that, we're also refining our brand. It hasn't been changed still. I did everything, like for our logos. I'm a marketing major, so it's kind of, it comes to me. But our from our logo to everything else, I created, but now we were getting it professionally done, to reflect the impact that we're having. And so I'm really excited about that. I want to leave you guys with two pieces of advice. I know I've been talking a lot, and I don't like talking as much as I'm talking right now. I want to talk with you all. But the first advice that I would give anyone who's interested in entrepreneurship, or just, this is advice for anyone in general who's working, or in general, right? The importance of walking in your purpose. Your purpose is so important because as an entrepreneur, for me, it keeps me grounded when things get difficult, when I have sleepless nights and challenges come out of the air, right? When you walk in your purpose, it helps me to be grounded, knowing that I'm doing what I need to be doing. I'm serving my community, I'm making an impact, and it keeps me going, right? And also the importance of being intentional in your actions. So many opportunities I received because I was intentional with my actions, my team members, etc. And so I think that that's something that will help you, even if you're not an entrepreneur. But even so, when you are an entrepreneur, the importance of just walking in your purpose, staying the course, and being intentional in your actions, and you'll be really successful. The second one is focus on you, and I put myself there. So focus on you, right? As an entrepreneur, it's really easy to get boggled down on what everyone else is doing, what's trendy, etc. And what I've learned to do is, I need my community in order to survive. Great leaders. When I was in school, I loved Elon Musk, so I'll use him as an example. And for his philosophy is, he doesn't know how to build a rocket, right? He doesn't know how to build the mechanics of Tesla. However, he surrounds himself with individuals who are smarter than him, right, to get the work done. And so focus on you, and focus on your mental health, focus on just ensuring that you are in the right space to accomplish your purpose, as we talked about, and then have people who are smarter than you focus on everything else, right, that you can't do. And the reason that this is so important is because I've done many pitch competitions, and I do pitch training sessions where I've learned that investors, if you're looking for investors for your organization, etc., sometimes the model works, right? Like when I was pitching Noble Uprising, our model was simple. We have individuals who need employment. We partner with organizations to train them for that employment opportunity, right? That's a simple model. But what I learned was that our sponsors and our investors, quote unquote investors, they were donating, right? Our donors were focused on, am I the right person to do what this project or what this is? In school, actually, when I was an MC, we had a lot of organizations, a lot of students who wanted to do something similar to what DoorDash is now, right? What Grubhub is now. And so the differentiator is, are you the right person to do what you want to do? And so, which is why it's so important to focus on you, and focus on the fact that building yourself up and building your brand up to ensure that you are successful. And when you do that, things happen, right? Like opportunities come, and there's an opportunity for great impact. So when you walk in your purpose, and you are intentional with your actions, and you focus on yourself, You don't even need to do a marketing campaign. You don't need to seek out opportunities. They will come to you as you are walking in your purpose. As a result of my entrepreneurship journey, I've had some of the best experiences I've had in my life. Met many of influential people to just the most down to earth and authentic people, and learned so much from this whole journey, right? And I just want to say that it has been a thrilling journey, and my focus was not on this slide; it was really on the other sides and making sure that we had the impact to back it up. And as a result, we're able to be very successful in different ways. And so, in closing, that's kind of all I have. I want to end with this video that I did for UMD. It was part of their capital campaign.
To me, being fearless means never settling for anything less than making a difference. And this is just the beginning for Noble Uprising. And the University of Maryland is a place where pursuits like this are not only possible, but they're inevitable. Thank you.
That was a really great, really great opportunity for me, and I learned so much from that opportunity. But my focus for that was really talking about the impact that change has on our community, and the impact that our community can have when we serve it.